While the 60s may be known as the decade rock rose to prominence, the 70s might be remembered as the disco decade. Over the past few years, disco dominated the popular music scene. Now, as we head into the 80s, some say disco is losing its glitter. Are the good times over?
I don't think it's really fading. I'd hate to say that it's going to die or fade away. I think it is blending into other music. Maybe it is fading into other types of music. We see the same thing with country music, though. Country music is becoming more mass appeal. You have Willie and Leon and Waylon, and you're hearing those on adult radio stations that were not to be considered country in the past.
Disco makes up a substantial portion of WAKY's nighttime program. McVay says in the last few months, the songs and performers you hear in that disco block have changed.
You'll hear dance music, as we like to call it, and dance music also includes ballads, love songs, slower songs. At one point, disco music was all 100 beats a minute, and now it's becoming some music with meaning, and some of the songs are getting some depth into them. Because the record buying market has tightened up so much, a lot of songs are disguised. Donna Summer has done some songs of late. For instance, she has a song out now with Barbra Streisand, which I wouldn't consider a disco song, and yet it is getting played at a lot of different discos.
The apparent broadening of disco may be reflected in business at local clubs. At least 2 more establishments have opened here in the last month. The dance floors seem as crowded as ever, the people just as outrageous. But despite its mass appeal, the disco business is still a risky one.
But if you do it the right way, I don't think there's any risk at all. You have to know what your market is, and you have to spend the money and build the right image. If you do all that, do it right, there's no risk.
Gerry Wood of Billboard magazine thinks the disco explosion may have overshadowed problems cropping up in the recording industry.
The success of Saturday Night Fever and those blockbuster albums might have masked the fact that a recession was starting. There was so much attention focused on all this that all of a sudden these other types of music over here that's starting to have all these problems, nobody's paying attention to those problems. They're paying attention to this big godsend of disco and what's happening. So I think for a while it might have drawn the attention away from an encroaching problem that was beginning to bug the industry.
Lloyd Patterson, WAVE News Watch.